Hi, folks. Welcome back to Just Ask George. I'm David Wolf, affiliate banker with BH Capital. I'm here with the president and founder of BH Capital, George Lovato Jr. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you.
This
you
is
had
Friday.
a good week?
This is Friday.
Our favorite day. It's still Friday. One of our favorite segments, of course, we like them all. Is there money out there, George Lovato Jr.?
Is there money out there?
And we're going to talk about selling notes, this whole area of originating, selling of notes as an alternative to financing. Well, there's a lot of ways to finance. This is one of them. Right?
Yeah, well, let's put it this way. When there is gridlock in the financial community, there's still many, many, many different detours one can take and still create the same results.
Excellent.
Our producer director Steve forwarded an interesting read about banks and the SBA and the fact that the $5 million request out there was getting financed, but the $250,000 SBA loan was not. And I had an interesting discussion with a prospect that called, and he said, "Well, what do I do? I've been turned down by every bank." And I said, the thing is, you've got a good business model. You're profitable. You've been profitable for a long, long time, and you're successful. So why don't we sell notes? And I don't know if you remember another movie, Amadeus.
Yes, that one I know.
That one you saw. And the king of Austria, he said, "Well, what did you think of this?" Too many notes. So you don't want to sell too many notes, but there is a way to form capital utilizing that mechanism. And this is the first question is, well, who's going to buy that note? Well, okay, right. First of all, what are the three things we always say? Structure, structure, structure.
Right.
If you're going to sell a note, you're expecting that note is going to be backed by something other than the good faith and credit of a handshake.
Yeah.
So there should be some assets behind there that secure that note.
Usually hard assets, right? In the case of a business note.
Something you can kick, touch, and feel. And there should be an attractive interest rate, and there should be a relatively short amount of time. In other words, you don't want to issue a 20-year note like Ford Motor does when they issue bonds.
Different instrument.
Different instruments. So maybe 3 to 5 year term.
Okay.
Solid interest rates, say 7.5%, 8.5%, somewhere in that range. All right. Well, why would somebody want to buy that note? Well, they're putting money on deposit at a bank and getting 1.5% or 2%, something ridiculously low, and the individual looking for a little bit better yield wants to know that if heck goes in the handbasket, what's there to liquidate behind the note? If there's assets, then certainly that becomes more appealing. So selling notes is an alternative to form capital in the debt environment. Contacting friends, family, former enemies, and your favorite merchant banking company, BH Capital, and obviously get help in putting that out there.
Yeah.
The trick is the structure. And once you're a successful company with successful results of operations, a good financial statement presentation, it's pretty easy.
You ought to be able to do it.
It's very attractive.
Is there anything that business owners tend to stumble on when it comes to structuring these notes? Give us an example of things they might trip over, if it's possible.
Certainly. They can trip over the fact that they don't have a Rolodex. They have nobody to talk to.
Nobody to sell the note to.
I talked about that in the obstacle course, that sometimes you're so highly focused on your business that you're really not connected to the community any longer. So not having that community connectivity, you're not going to be out there talking to people about buying the note. Now, something else they may stumble across is, they might be overvaluing their assets.
Yeah.
So they might be asking for too much money versus what they could actually support in the event of a liquidation.
So you look at liquidation valuation when you do this,
Right.
of course.
Right,
All
one of the elements.
And is there a size? I mean, you mentioned the $250,000 number earlier in this segment, as opposed to $5 million. Is this more appropriate, short term, small amounts of money, or does that just depend? It's a moving part.
I've seen it in all shapes and sizes. I mean, I saw a company float some notes about 2 years ago for about $20 million.
Okay. Do you ever see equity kickers or warrants or any of those sorts of
that's when you start adding the more colorful brushstrokes to the deal to make it more attractive. Okay, I've got assets behind the note, and then I'm going to give you a little kicker that you can convert part of your principal at a preset price in equity in the company, and that equity is going to be tied to a dividend. Now you really start flavoring this thing up.
This is cool. This is cool. And can you? I'm imagining you can build in either a redemption or an extension, or can you roll these forward if
you're talking about?
I'm starting to sound like I know what I'm talking about.
Man, oh man, that's
a beautiful thing.
Yeah, certainly. Like I said, you're using more colorful brushstrokes by adding these different dimensions.
Okay.
There is there's always a question. If I'm going to lend you the money, when can I get it back? And so that's why you want to keep that in a relatively short period, and based on your success, be able to reach out and pay them back.
And by the way, I'm throwing out some technical terms here, folks. Don't try this at home without the help of a professional. George Lovato Jr. at BH Capital. The website, of course, www.bhcapitalltd.com. Also, you can find the Obstacle Course books at the website is one and the same, www.obstaclecoursebooks.com. We'll see you next time on Just Ask George. Thanks for joining us for Is There Money Out There?
Bye-bye.
We'll see you.